Hello, my name's Jose. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I set up my steering wheel for 2024. This is the Rexing Mayaris V2. It's the latest edition from Rexing. There's some changes from the last Rexing that I was using. So with that, there are some new functions, both on the wheel and functions that I've been able to come up with because of the new functions available. I'm still using a fairly similar setup to what I was using before. So starting up here with the push to talk. Not a button that I use a whole lot. I think that the radio is actually kind of distracting while I'm driving, but more so since at the time of this video, I'm preparing for the 12 hours of Sebring. Since I'm running with my team and we're running on track with some other cars, I do have that set up now so that I can communicate with other cars. Below that, still have my flash button. So if I'm on track, multi-class racing, whether I'm in the LMP or we're gonna be in the Lamborghini for the 12 hours, being able to communicate with other cars if they don't have a radio on, or if you just don't wanna use the radio, that flash button is gonna flash the headlights. And it's usually a way to communicate with others on track. Below that, I have a button labeled OK. And this is set up right now just to, I think it's the lap timing black box. And what this is gonna do, it's, if for whatever reason I accidentally hit a button here that pops up a black box when I don't want it to, this is just a quick way to clear it. So I just hit OK and then that clears it. Also, if I need to get to that black box, the lap timing black box quickly, I know it's on that button right there, so I can just click it and it pops it up. Here I have one of my rotary encoders, and then this one on this side is currently set up for traction control. So I can run different traction control settings. If I'm in the Formula One car, this can also be set up to run one of the differentials. So whether it's the entry, middle, or exit diff, these can be set up for the differential settings. Coming down to this rotary down here, I have a button labeled mode. This button here, I'm able to scroll through the different engine mix settings. So whether I'm fuel saving or we're on full power, whatever we're doing for strategy in the race, I'm able to have that button there for my fuel mix. Below that, I have another rotary for black boxes. So I'm able to scroll through the different black boxes. I also have that on this one, actually. No, actually on this one. So I'm able to run through the different 8 positions of the different black boxes. So depending on the car, depending on my mood, I can switch between these two. So I can't do that simultaneously just to make that clearly, but I can definitely set it between these two, so I have that option there. Below that, this funky switch here, this is something nice because on the previous Rexing, we had the one funky switch and then we had an analog joystick. So now we have these two 7-way funky switches, which is quite helpful, quite convenient. This one is not set up for anything at the moment, while this one on this side is set up to run through the black box controls. Mostly what I do with that when I have my force feedback settings, that I want to be able to tune that while I'm driving, I'm able to click in and pull up the mirror or the graphic adjustments black box, and then in there be able to scroll down and tune my force feedback while I'm driving. These buttons here, I've got these set up for brake bias, and the reason I have those there as opposed to on a rotary, it's because I like to be able to dial in one click at a time. And sometimes when, especially when you're wearing gloves, if you push a rotary, it could go too far, or here it could be a little bit too difficult to get that as quickly as I want it. So having these here for my brake bias has worked out the best for me. Below that, I have a previous and next, and these are set up to change this dashboard. This dashboard runs through SimHub, so these buttons are actually communicating with SimHub to change the page on this dashboard. So stuff like the Lamborghini, stuff like the F1 car, there's a lot of cars that run multiple dashboards for multiple different situations, and you can switch through those different pages on these two buttons here. Then we're gonna move over onto this side of the wheel, and I've got a neutral button. It's labeled as neutral, but this is actually my button to enter, exit, and tow. If you ever need to, or if you're getting in and out of the car, this is something that I always recommend to have in a convenient place, because it's probably, it's the button that you're using the most. So it's there, it's convenient, and again, it's to be able to get in and out of the car. If you need to get towed back to pit lane, that's your button there. This button here, kind of like the flash button as well, it has a cover around it, or a protector around it, and this is so that I don't hit it by accident. So this one here is set up for my pit limiter. This button will also flash, so you'll be able to see that in some of the overlaid B-roll. You'll be able to see that button flashing, and you'll be able to see all the other LEDs. Below that, I have PC. I think about it as pit control. So I've got this set up for my pit stop black box, just so that I'm able to access that quickly. Here I have another rotary, this side-to-side rotary. It's currently set up for the ABS on the Lamborghini. And then below that, I have this rotary here, which it's set up for actually the diff in the F1 car. So I know I talked about this side being set up for diffs, but I actually have this one labeled as diff. So again, you can move so many different things around that it makes it pretty easy to pick and choose where I want buttons, depending on situations or depending on the car. And then below that here, I run this for the Formula One car. This is my Strat button, so this is going to be running the different hybrid modes for the Formula One car. We're going to be moving into these rotaries here. These have become really interesting. These have digital OLED displays, so I'm able to digitally put in a label and label this to whatever I'm using it for. Over on this side, this is running 3 different modes. So if I click this in, I have 3 different modes, and then this center button has 4 different modes. Over on this side, my mode 1 is currently set up for the throttle shape. And this is just, mode 1 is an 8-position switch. So 1 through 8, and then that will give me right now different positions for the throttle shape on the Lamborghini. If I click this in, it goes to mode 2, which is going to be, it's known as button 6, which works in conjunction with this button down here. And I have that set up for the active reset. Active reset has 4 different modes, or 4 different options. The activate, run the active reset, and then setting the start and end point for the custom sector. So with that, I'm able to switch between the 4 different positions for the 4 different options that you can do with active reset. And once I have that position set, once I want to activate that position, then I hit button 6, and that runs that mode. Then if I go into mode 3, now I have this button here set up. So this is now the encoder, which is currently only set up for the brightness for this dashboard, and then the brightness for the auxiliary dashboard that I have on the side of the rig. So again, when I'm in the encoder position, I have 8 different positions, so 8 different menus, or 8 different things that I can affect with an up and down value. Moving on to the back side of the wheel, we still have the dual clutch paddles. We have new shifters, which are significantly quieter than the other ones. And then we have the new push and pull paddles. So these push and pull paddles, like the ones on the previous Rexing, are probably some of my favorite pieces of gear on the entire wheel. This new function, so if I pull both of these, this is acting now as my traction control toggle. Before, I would have to push and hold, or pull and hold this, and if I had to spin the car around, I would have to keep holding that. Now, this is going to activate that and hold that in position until I click it, and then that's going to release the function. So it's a lot more convenient to just activate that quickly, whip the car around, and then quickly disable it. I still have stuff like the DRS set up and the tear off as well. So something else that I could do is like when I'm running the VR headset and I need to recenter the view, I have that set up as a pull here, or a push. Keep getting that confused. And I think the coolest function now that I've been able to do, this wheel has the ability to send multiple inputs at once. So between 2 and 20 inputs I can do on one pull. And I've currently got this set up to go directly to reverse. So no matter what gear I'm in, I pull this and it goes down, I think 10 or 11 times, mostly to just ensure that it's going to go down all the way to reverse. And the whole point of that is if I spin the car out and I need to get into reverse, it's much faster to just pull this once, and instead of having to pull this down 6 times or whatever, it gets the car into reverse much faster, so it's definitely really convenient. And then the last function on the back of the wheel here, I'm still running my favorite function, and that is my pull here, and that's gonna show me the relative to the car behind. So that was, I think, the first function that I had come up with on the previous wheel, and it's just a quick and easy way without any distraction to see what the gap to the car behind is. So I pull that, it gives me a window right here on the dashboard, and I'm able to see that information. So that's gonna be it for this one. That's gonna be the wheel for 2024. And if you have any questions about that, I'm gonna be posting a lot more videos on this wheel, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.